Can I download my brain to a USB stick? It sounds simple. You back up your photos, you back up your cat videos. Why not back up the thing that actually likes the cat videos? Imagine, no more forgetting where you put your keys. No more aging. Just you on a 128 gigabyte SanDisk hanging from a keychain next to a loyalty card for a sandwich shop. But as it turns out, your head is a lot more complicated than a folder full of JPEGs. Today, we're going to look at the stupid answer to the stupid question, the physical math behind it, and then dive into the two terrifyingly serious questions. How do we actually scan the meat computer in your skull? And if we succeed, would that digital thing actually be you? Welcome to Stupid Questions, the show where we take those weird, intrusive thoughts you have at 3 a.m., the ones that keep you from sleeping, and we treat them with a level of scientific rigor that is frankly unnecessary. Let's start with the basics. If you walk into a tech store today and buy a standard USB stick, you're looking at maybe 128 gigabytes. Sounds like a lot, right? You could fit thousands of songs on there. But your brain is not a song. It's a symphony played by 86 billion neurons, and every single one of those neurons is talking to up to 10,000 of its neighbors. This web of connections is called the connectome. If we wanted to map your brain at a level where we could actually run it as a program, we need to store the position and strength of every single one of those trillions of synapses. Scientists estimate that to store a human brain's data, you would need about 2.5 petabytes. Let's put that in perspective. 1 petabyte equals 1,000 terabytes equals 1 million gigabytes. To fit your personality, your memories of your first crush, and your crippling anxiety onto standard 128 gigabyte USB sticks, you would need roughly 20,000 sticks. If you taped them all together, you'd have a plastic brick the size of a small car. Not exactly something you can carry in your pocket. And that's just the raw data. We haven't even talked about the read-write speed. If you tried to upload your brain via a standard USB 3.0 port, it would take about 25 years to finish the transfer. By the time you're 100% uploaded, you'd be a quarter century older, and your digital backup would already be having a midlife crisis. And let's talk about the hardware for a second. Even if you fit on that stick, you have a new enemy, bit rot. Flash drives aren't eternal. Over time, the electrical charges that represent your self start to leak. Imagine waking up in 50 years and forgetting your mother's face because a few electrons decided to bail. You wouldn't just be dying, you'd be slowly pixelating out of existence. Okay, so the storage is a problem, but maybe in 10 years, we'll have a 3 petabyte brain stick. The real problem, the first serious question is, how do we get the data out? Your brain isn't a digital drive. You can't just plug it in. The data is encoded in the physical structure of your biology. To get it, we need a map. This is the field of connectomics. Right now, we have two ways to do this. One is the gentle way, and the other is the salami way. The gentle way involves MRI scans, but current MRIs are like looking at a city from a satellite. You can see the highways, the big nerve bundles, but you can't see the people talking in the houses, the synapses. To see the synapses, we need a resolution of about 5 nanometers. A human hair is 100,000 nanometers wide. We are nowhere near doing this with a living person. This brings us to the salami way. This is what researchers at Harvard and Google did recently. They took a tiny piece of a human brain, about the size of a grain of sugar, and they sliced it. They didn't use a kitchen knife. They used a diamond knife microtome. They sliced this tiny grain of brain into 5,000 layers, each just 30 nanometers thick. Then, they used an electron microscope to take 225 million images. It took them years to reconstruct that one tiny grain of tissue into a 3D digital model. The result? That tiny grain produced 1.4 petabytes of data. To do your whole brain the salami way, we would have to slice your entire head into millions of layers. There is a slight downside to this method. It's 100% fatal. You'd be the first person to live on a USB stick, but you'd also be the first person to be distributed across countless microscope slides. So we do have the salami tech for tiny bits, but we are decades, maybe centuries away from a non-destructive scan that can see your thoughts without turning your brain into deli meat. And here is another thought that will really ruin your day. What operating system do you run on? Your brain is the software and the hardware combined. If we put your data on a USB stick, we need a program to run it. Is it Brain OS 1.0? Who wrote the code? If there's a bug in the code, do you experience a headache, or does your entire reality just crash? Imagine being you, but suddenly you can't process the color red because of a driver update. Okay, that's present time. Let's imagine the future. We solved the storage. We solved the scanning. We didn't even have to slice you. We uploaded you to a server. You're on the stick. Now comes the second serious question, the one that keeps philosophers awake at night. Is that thing on the stick actually you? This is the teleporter paradox. Imagine I make an exact digital copy of your brain. I simulate every neuron, every chemical reaction, every memory. I hit enter and the program starts. The digital you wakes up. It says, "Wow, it worked. I'm inside the computer. It feels a bit metallic in here, but I'm me." But here's the problem. The physical you is still sitting in the chair. You didn't move. You just watched a computer screen turn on. To the digital you, it's immortality. To physical you, it's just a very expensive piece of software that talks like you. And it gets weirder. Your brain isn't just a map of wires, it's a chemical soup. You feel happy because of serotonin. You feel scared because of adrenaline. In a computer, there is no adrenaline. There are only ones and zeros. Can a computer feel a chemical? If we don't simulate your entire body, your heart rate, your gut bacteria, your hormones, the digital you might be a philosophical zombie. It would act like you. It would have your memories, but it wouldn't feel anything. It would be a cold, calculating ghost of your personality. And then there's the time problem. Computers process information at the speed of light. Your biological brain is slow. If we run your brain USB on a powerful supercomputer, you might think 1,000 years worth of thoughts in a single afternoon. You'd be a god of thought, but you'd be trapped in a digital box where a single human conversation feels like it lasts for centuries. Would digital you still be the person who likes cat videos? Or would it become something entirely alien within the first 5 minutes of being turned on? And if we are all on sticks, do we get plugged into the same server? A digital afterlife sounds great until you realize it's just a massive Slack channel you can never leave. You'd be living in a cloud where your thoughts could be copied, pasted, or, God forbid, deleted by a terms of service update. Think about it. In the physical world, your thoughts are private. They die with you. But on a server, your most intimate memories are just files. Files that can be indexed, searched, and sold to advertisers. Imagine dreaming of your first crush, only for a pop-up to appear in your visual cortex because a third-party algorithm decided you're a prime candidate for a new dating app. You aren't a person anymore. You're a 24/7 focus group. And what happens when the hosting company goes bankrupt? Does your existence just expire? Sorry, your consciousness is no longer compatible with the latest update of Reality 2.0. Please upgrade to the Premium Soul plan to continue existing. Immortality is cool until you realize you're just a subscription model. You'd be working a digital job to pay for the electricity that keeps your server running. A literal ghost in the machine, grinding forever just to avoid the delete key. We wanted to escape the grave, but we might have just moved into a digital cubicle with no windows and a landlord who owns our soul. So, to answer the stupid question, can you download your brain to a USB stick? Physically? Not yet. You need a backpack full of hardware and a very messy surgery. Technologically? We're getting there, one sugar grain size slice at a time. Philosophically? Even if we do it, you might just be the person watching your copy live forever. Maybe the stupidity of the question isn't in the tech, but in the idea that we are just data. We are biological, messy, and chemical. And perhaps that's why we haven't been saved to a drive yet. We're still a work in progress. But hey, look on the bright side. If you ever do end up on a USB stick, just make sure nobody unsafely ejects you while you're thinking. That would be a very awkward way to lose your mind. Thanks for asking a stupid question. If you watched this far and liked this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I'm just starting out, and it would mean a lot to the dude who is prompting my words. If you have another stupid question on your mind, share it in the comments. See you in the next one.